Today on the Emceemur Show.
So we're riding to meet a callback right now. A callback, something you don't get very often. People will take your number. They're not going to call you. Every once in a blue moon, somebody will. And this person's actually called me back multiple times. Always finding great stuff and always ready to deal. So here's hoping that what we're going to look at is as good as I think it is.
You know, I don't have the best luck with callbacks. I just don't. I mean, they either don't happen at all or they're goose chases, you know, and nothing ever comes of them. But this particular one, this contact here, I've dealt with before. And they're in the process of cleaning out closets and storage spaces and just finding stuff they want to get rid of. Now, I've seen pictures of what we're supposed to be going to get, and you know, they're not great pictures, but from the look of it, the money's there, but we've got to get it for the right price. I like what I'm seeing. For the most part, this is an N64 lot. There's some juicy stuff in there if it's all actually there. If there's things in the boxes that I'm seeing, yeah, this is going to be good stuff. They're wanting about $200 for this lot, and I know they're not going to budge much, if any. I came in at about $175, and they said they'd be okay with that. That's still more than I want to pay for what this is, but I can't help but think, again, the money is definitely there, and there's some things in this lot I've just got to have. I'm cruising about an hour north of where I live, so it's a little bit of a drive for what this is too, and you got to take that into consideration when you're talking about how much you're offering for everything. But, you know, I do what I do. I do what I gotta do. I'm up early in the morning, I'm getting the coffee on, I'm getting ready to make the trek. And you know, as luck would have it, I get up there a little early, so don't think I'm not gonna treat myself to some breakfast. There happens to be a Burger King here, and I am a sucker for a croissant sandwich every now and again, especially when they're 2 for $4. So don't think I'm not feeling some early breakfast, because that's something I very much love. But I'm getting amped. It's go time. We're about to see this stuff. Is it everything it's cracked up to be? I gotta get eyes on it. So my contact meets me on time. I'm excited to take a look at this stuff. We get the items moved out of their vehicle and into some storage bins that I brought with me in my SUV. And you know, you want to get all the stuff out and just really look over it and grade it and take inventory, but you're in the parking lot of a grocery store. And it's like, you also don't want to do that because everybody's craning their necks out, driving by, looking at what you're doing, and you know. And if I didn't know this person, if I hadn't already dealt with them in the past, I would definitely want to get all this stuff out. But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here. It looks like my money is here. All right, so I get the stuff in the bins, give it a quick look over, we shake on it, and we're good. Now I'm really amped to get home with these bins and get everything out and see just how well we did. You know, we assume the risk. I preach that over and over again. So it doesn't hurt to make an offer. You don't want to lowball and get it to where people stop calling you. Ideally, I would want this person to call me again and again and again with more things. But we've also got to get it for the right price in case for some reason something doesn't work. Oh, it works, yeah. But you know, when was the last time anyone actually used any of these things that they sell to us? You know, they're old, they're not used. That's why they're getting rid of it. So it's okay to assume the worst. You gotta get it for the right price. It's time to get this stuff out of the bins, out of the boxes. It's time to value what we have. It's time to see, did we pay too much or did we do okay? You know, we talked about the money in this lot, and it's here, all right? You know, we've got 2 N64s going on there. They don't look to be in that bad a shape. Time will tell. We've got to test them, of course, but they're clean, and they're here, and that's fantastic. This is kind of an important piece. A boxed Gamecube. I'm going to tell you, I've come across so many GameCubes, not a boxed one though, at least not for money I would pay. So the fact that this is here is pretty dadgum cool. And there's always that outside chance that you're going to get some extras. So we can already see that we have a memory card in here. Not a huge extra, but it's there. But let's get the door open. Well, it could have been Ed, Edd, and Eddy 2, Adventures of Ed, but it's not. I'm talking about Zelda Ocarina of Time, and the disc is flawless. Who knows how long this has been in here and just been preserved for eternity. What a bonus to have in there. That is redonkulous. Okay. Boom. Unreal. And it's so clean. I can't get over how clean the fan and the vents are on this thing. You'd almost swear someone had been into it, but it doesn't look like anyone has. All the port covers are there. We're missing the power cord and we're missing the AV cable. But that's okay. We have those in our parts department. That's not the end of the world. Now, that is part of the reason that we've got to ask for money off on these things, though. We assume the risk. We're the buyer, you know. So don't be afraid to haggle down, even if it's with somebody that you've done repeat business with. You know, you assume the risk every time. I guarantee you. So we've got the manual for the GameCube, some additional paperwork, and okay. This is like the startup disc or sample disc or something that came with it. I skipped over the GameCube when it came out. I didn't want it. I didn't want to buy any more systems at that point. I had it. I was like, no. No Dreamcasts, no GameCubes. Y'all stop it. Y'all are fighting amongst yourselves. I don't want any more systems. Leave me alone. So the preview CD-ROM. Okay, well, that's kind of cool that that's in there. I've actually never seen one of these. So that's pretty much complete once I put the parts with it. Now the question is, do I want to sell my silver GameCube and replace it with this one since it's boxed and complete? Or do I just leave this one boxed on the shelf? And I'm kind of leaning more toward that because I like my old GameCube. It's dusty and trusty and all that good stuff. So I don't know. We'll think about it. Well, this kind of makes sense. A Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time official player's guide. Oh, look at this. I've never looked at one of these either. That's great. As far as a value on one of these, no idea. Some of these get on up there, and then some of them are common enough to where, well, they just don't, but this one's not in bad shape. The fold out's in there. I mean, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's super clean. Yeah, you know, I may have to hold on to that. I don't believe I have one of these. I'm almost positive I don't. I don't recall ever even laying eyes on one, so keep it coming. Oh my. So I saw this in the picture, and there's no game with it, okay? It's Ocarina of Time. It's the box and the manual, which I have the manual for my copy, but I don't have the box. And I think the reason there's no game here is because I bought the game off the same individual a long time ago. But here's the box for it, and I've got mine, and I'm planning on just putting this in here. I'll put my copy in this one, and then we'll have a complete Ocarina for the shelf. The box is in rough shape. It hasn't quite been sat on, but it's rough around the edges. But it's better than not having a box. We will get a box protector for it, and we'll go from there. Well, we got a copy of Tetrisphere, cartridge only. Never really messed around with this game, and I'm really trying to beef my N64 collection back up. Okay, Tetrisphere. I don't have it. Now this is where it gets stupid. Just stupid. Majora's Mask, okay? A collector's edition Majora's Mask, mind you. A collector's edition Majora's Mask, and we finally got that nice gold cartridge with the holographic logo on it. But dadgummit, there were two of them, and that's where the money was definitely there in this lot. Both of them boxed. One was the collector's edition and one was not. This has always been a white whale game to me, and it shouldn't be. It's not like it's rare or anything. I mean, it's just not one I ever find, and it's one that I need. I just personally don't ever run up on it. Not for a price I would pay, and not for a condition I'd be okay with. Yeah, I played it. Yeah, I've got ways to play it. Hell, I even got the collector's edition on the 3DS, because who wasn't going to buy that thing when it came out if you were an actual Zelda fan? But this is the way I wanted my Majora's Mask, my forever Majora's Mask. For the shelf. I mean, that is just fantastic. And there's two of these things, so obviously, do I want the variant? I mean, maybe a little bit, but more than likely we're gonna have to let go of that one to make the money make sense on this lot. It's not like I walked away with these things for $1 a piece. Curiouser and curiouser still, Robotron 64 in the box. So I love Robotron, and as far as putting it with a 64 version, well, I don't know. I've never played this, never had it, never played it. Only been a original Robotroner from back in the day. But this is cool. I mean, it's got the name, so this is something really neat. It's in the box. Obviously, that's how we want it. We'll get a box protector for this too. I mean, this has got all the stuff with it, I'm sure. Got some writing on the cartridge. We need to clean that up. The label looks great though. Label's fine. And we have the manual. It's a little rough around the edges, but well, we can work with that. Great. Just fantastic. So this is definitely a keeper. We got a complete in-box Robotron 64. I am loving that. Such a cool addition. Got a dadgum VHF box. God only knows what that goes to. We got a Tremor pack. Distant cousin of the Rumble pack. Yeah, whatever. You know, I've never run up on one of those that worked. Even first party, every time I get them, they're fried. And there's nothing ever wrong with the battery compartments. This one's, well, it's a little corroded. It's a little corroded. Actually, that's a lot corroded. That looks bad. Well, that's probably going in the trash can. But, you know, we're already ahead of the game here. Again, these things never work anyway. They were never, oh, mine worked just fine. Well, maybe it did, but none of mine ever did. And I'm talking about back in the day, too, even in the late 90s. They never worked. This goes to something, but I don't know what. But a couple other odds and ends here. There's an AC adapter here for a Super Nintendo. We've got some RF switches, and you can't have too many of those. Although, honestly, I think I'm bordering on having too many of those. But anyway, that's everything that's in the box, and I think that's a pretty good haul.
The N64s need the usual cleaning, and one of them has a sticky reset button. So I'm going under the hood and getting these straight. The insides were dusty, and they needed a good wipe down and Q-tipping. Both consoles include an atomic purple controller, which is a nice bump in the value. One had an RF switch instead of an AV cable with it, but it'll still sell like that. I mean, I remember when the 64 came out, I was running mine on an RF. These two 64s are a big part of the valuation here. I'll bundle these up, we'll get them packed up, and we'll list them. We'll be well on our way to being in the green on this deal. The Ocarina of Time box is staying in the collection. I'm putting my copy in this box, thereby doubling its value. Nothing wrong with having a little bit more boxed Zelda in your life. This Robotron 64 is just great. It's so fantastic that it's complete in the box. It's going to make a great addition to my N64 shelf, and you know, the game isn't half bad. I really like this so far. I could see playing more of this. I really could. Then we have the Ocarina guide and this disc-only copy of Ocarina on the Gamecube. And you know, I've looked through my guides, I do not have this guide, and it's a nice one, so I'm afraid this has to go on the shelf. But this disc-only copy of Ocarina, I just don't need it. I mean, I have a complete copy of that. And this is a really clean disc, so it'll make a good copy for somebody. We'll recap some of what we've got in this lot by selling this disc off. Then we have this boxed Gamecube, which is complete once I threw some spare parts in the box. It even came with a memory card, so this is great. And if I really wanted to be in the green, I could just sell my Platinum Gamecube, which I just don't know that I want to do though. The collector in me, wants one of every color, the N64 syndrome. So this is going on the shelf, and the figures here are not going to reflect having sold my personal Gamecube, because I just don't think I'm ready to do that. Then these boxed Majoras though. What can I say? I mean, the collector's edition is definitely staying here, but as we said previously, the variant, the regular version, probably has to go. If we really want to be in the green on this thing, I can't keep all of this stuff. So that's going to be the one that goes. We've got to keep the collector's edition. It's just gorgeous. I've been after one of these for a long time for a price I would pay, and well, doesn't get much better than free. And then there's Tetrisphere, so I didn't have it, and it's going in the collection. You know, I like Tetris, old school Tetris. This is obviously a variation on that, and it seems kind of fun, I don't know. Either way, it'll be nice to have. Putting it on the shelf. So definitely a great deal here, but we're still slightly in the red only because I kept so much of it. I mean, I'm a collector at heart, not a smelly reseller. You know, I could sell my non-boxed Gamecube and hit the green easy, but dadgummit, I don't wanna. So $19 for $250 worth of loot added to my collection. I will call that a win. Another stellar pickup adventure, all in a morning's work. And you know, I hope there's more and more and more. It's great to have repeat business, repeat customers. Love that, because you're going to have those mornings where you go out and you find stuff, but it isn't always going to be a giant box full of Majora's Masks, okay? Might be some turdy old Wii games. You'll be glad to get whatever you find, but boy, you got to take these really exceptional hauls and just really relish them. Really be glad that you have them. Each one is its own specific memory, its own adventure, and its own neat look back at what are almost always amazing games from our gaming history.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. So much more coming your way. I'll see you on the next one.